Welcome to the Yorkshire Dales, an area of outstanding natural beauty. From its distinctive valleys formed millions of years ago, to rugged waterfalls and lazy meandering rivers, it all provides a dramatic backdrop to the lives of the people who call this place home. I'm Adrian Edmondson, and I've returned to the county of my birth to take you on a journey through the magnificent Yorkshire Dales. It's going to be brilliant. Oh, come on. Keep up at the back. It's going to be a fantastic journey. Now, we've all heard about people getting married down under, but I fear some people might be taking it too literally. This is Ingleborough, the Dale's second highest mountain. Underground, it has some of the deepest and longest caves in the British Isles, so it's not surprising the cave-mad couple Jude and Johnny Latimer met in one of them.
When I first saw him, he was covered in mud and wearing a caving suit, and the kind of only bit of him exposed was probably from his chin to just under his helmet.
She had these sort of pink bubbles in her hair and blonde hair. Dead smiley, dead chatty and really funny, so we got on straight away.
I love his kind of passion for adventure and his kind of little catchphrase, which is, "There are no rules," and I quite like that.
Well, I've heard of people falling in love on the underground, but this is something else. And 2 years later, Jude and Johnny moved to the village of Clapham to be nearer to their treasured caves. Indeed, it was here in the local pub that Johnny felt the time was finally right to pop the question.
This is where we got engaged about 18 months ago on Christmas Eve, and Johnny chose this very romantic location in the bread oven to propose to me.
Hang on there. Did she just say bread oven? I think she did, you know.
And we had a few drinks with some friends, and the kind of dare got created to see if two people could fit inside the bread oven, so Johnny and I took up the challenge.
It was a bit spontaneous. While I was in there, I thought, well, ask the question and see what she says. And she said yes, and it was terrific.
With the wedding date set, Jude couldn't wait to organise her hen do.
Just seemed a perfect opportunity to get some of my friends caving who'd previously always refused to go.
It was a case of being thrown in at the deep end as Jude winched her mates 334 feet down the pothole at Gaping Gill, the largest cavern in Britain for probably the UK's deepest hen do.
I mean, some of the other ladies concocted an idea of, wouldn't it be fantastic to go down Gaping Gill all dressed in funky wellies and prom dresses and have a bit of a party down there. Absolutely fantastic. We were lucky that there were a band playing down there on the same day, so there was a bit of music down there, and it's all floodlit, and it was just so atmospheric and so magical.
Well, I wonder what Johnny did on his stag do.
I was taken from home at about 4 in the morning, put into the back of a van and trundled off down the motorway. And it wasn't until I got to Stansted Airport that I realised I was off to northern Spain. And I spent 4 days visiting a few bars and a few caves and just generally enjoying it thoroughly.
Yes, I can see a pattern emerging here. Can you guess where they're planning to tie the knot?
We decided that we'd like to incorporate caving into our wedding day by having a blessing in Ingleborough Cave.
Well, if you're planning to spend your big day a quarter of a mile underground, it's probably worth checking out the venue first.
But fingers crossed that the weather's going to improve, because as you can see, things are rather damp at the moment, and if I'm going to be standing here in my wedding dress, I hope I'm not going to get too soggy. If the worst comes to the worst, I'm just going to have to go for an industrial roll of cling film and just cling film myself up until I get here. But as long as the photos look good, and as long as Johnny gets to see me in my dress before it gets too muddy, I don't mind.
Later on, we'll rejoin the couple as, in very echoey voices, they say, "I do." In just 24 hours, caving couple Jude and Johnny will marry in their local church. But they feel most at home covered in mud hundreds of feet underground. So they're kicking off their wedding day with a blessing in Ingleborough's 350 million year old cave. You'd expect a few prenuptial nerves with such a daring day ahead, but it's not the cave Jude's worried about.
We have so many things in common, and I love this man so much, but organisationally we're probably the least compatible couple in the world. I'm just really hoping that when I get there he'll be on time.
I'll be on time.
Oh dear, poor boy. Doesn't recognise an order yet. A day later, the most hotly anticipated event in the caving social calendar arrives. Royal Ascot may have its hats, but at Ingleborough, they prefer to give it some welly. True to his word, Johnny gets to the cave on time, with his best man, ushers and dog Blaven.
I'm feeling a bit nervous at the moment. I'm quite surprised how many people have turned up, to be honest, but yeah, it's going to be good, I think.
But where's the blushing bride? Now, I know this doesn't look too good. But don't worry, no one slipped in their wellies. It's just Jude getting a lift from her friends at Clapham Cave Rescue. You know what they say about a wedding? Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. Well, add to that, something rubber. Well, you wouldn't want to go down a cave in your heels, would you? So, as the guests make their way to this unusual venue, it's time for the blessing to begin.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this very special, unique occasion.
For Jude and Johnny, it's not only a chance for them to celebrate their love for each other.
Grant them great joy on this, the wedding day.
But also their love of the Dales.
We thank you for all who explore the world of caving, who see a new world opening before their eyes.
As the ceremony draws to a close and everyone heads to the church, it's clear the day is going off with a bang.
I wasn't expecting the bangs.
Back in the village of Clapham, the couple swap the chilly chamber for St James's Church, where they officially tie the knot.
I therefore proclaim that they are husband and wife.
Not the usual Saturday, I suspect, for the Reverend Greenhalgh.
Oh, the service up at the caves was amazing, really. It's the first time I've done a service in a cave, but it was a great atmosphere and it was lovely.
And what's the verdict from the bride and groom?
It was just really romantic and atmospheric, and hopefully showed everyone that caving can be quite cool as well as miserable.
I think the day's gone perfectly for me anyway. Absolutely perfect. Couldn't have been better.
Never been happier. Best day of my life.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Where did the couple go on their honeymoon? Well, yes, you guessed it. A fortnight in Spain with a spot of caving thrown in.
Well, it's time to say goodbye from high up here on the moors. And I'll see you next week with more tales from the Yorkshire Dales.
Series 1 of The Dales with Aid Edmondson is available on DVD now from all good retailers. Yvette Cooper and Rachel Johnson are amongst the guests discussing this week's talking points. The agenda with Tom Bradby tonight at 10:35. After the break, it's back to Coronation Street.